NFL exec legend Bill Devaney joins the show. Bill, how you doing, brother?
Hey, what do you say, fellas? How you doing today?
Smitty's in person. You hear us?
I can hear you great.
Appreciate you joining us. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How y'all doing today?
Oh, man, we're hanging in there. Smitty made a drive. Usually we do it virtual. He made the drive to the cigar lounge, and
I drove 2 hours for you.
2 hours.
Way to go, Big Smitty. You're the guy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's true.
Let me ask you something real quick right out the gate. The Redskins, we're getting presidential support to bring the name back. I know you started there back in the day. Were you surprised when they took the name, and do you think it'll ever come back?
Well, remember who was in charge at that time, that little weasel, Dan Schneider. So nothing really surprised me. That was coming out of that, that place at the time. That was a negative. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the last thing you want to do is be offensive towards anyone. Obviously, I'm partial. At that time, we had it going good. I mean, we owned the town. The Redskins fans were crazy. The team was good. The organization, everything was good. So I'm really partial to that name. But the flip side, again, that's for people above my pay grade to figure that out. But I would love it. I mean, I'm a traditionalist. I know it's not. I know what the players think. I know what the hardcore fans think. They would love it if it was brought back.
Now, when you left the Redskins, what, 90, 91?
The 90 season, it was my first year in San Diego.
Was that the Hog year?
That was the last year we went to the Super Bowl. What was in '87? That was the Doug Williams Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I stayed 2 more years, and when I left, they played in the Super. They won the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah,
Charlie Casserly as the general manager.
Okay,
I was in San Diego by then.
Got you. Let me transition right to that. What's your thoughts on Jim Harbaugh going here to LA now? Yeah. And what they're doing in LA for the Chargers. They're already in the playoffs, first year there after we've seen the Staley thing debacle, going for 2 on every play and analytics and all that shit. So where are you at with San Diego and their trajectory?
Man, I tell you, JB, I'm a huge Jimmy fan. He's a friend of mine. He played for us at least 1 year in San Diego at the end of his career, maybe been 2 years. So I got to know Jim on a personal level. Then he coached at University of San Diego. Yeah. The guy just wins. The guy wins. His quarterbacks, every place he goes, his quarterbacks play great. I mean, daggone Trey Lance looked like a phenom the other night, right? Yeah. And Jimmy has that effect on him. I mean, he does a great job with quarterbacks. So now, typical Jim, does he go over the top? I mean, gosh, on Friday, just everybody recognizes. I mean, Justin Herbert is a good player, but Jimmy's got to calm his jets down a little bit when that's his day. He pumps up his quarterback, but after a while, you just roll your eyes like, "Come on, Jimmy, calm down a little bit, bro."
That's him all day, right? Right. There's that Michigan, NFL, whatever. He's gonna be him every time.
Big Smitty, how about this? Then John has to one up Jimmy. Like 2 days later, he comes up and says, Lamar's the greatest natural passer in the history of the NFL. So these guys are nuts. Come on, man.
The most accurate passer.
Every team you've been on, like I'm a Ram guy growing up in LA. We just had Dick Vermeil on. We got Eric Weddle, Super Bowl champ, on our show during the season every week. I got them as my favorite to win it all this year after what I saw them this close to beating the Super Bowl champ Eagles in the snow. Stafford throws for 330 plus there. He's a little banged up right now, but it seems like Smitty and I were going to go to practice yesterday, and they canceled it. It was a walkthrough, and now they're getting ready to go to Dallas, or not Dallas, but here in Oxnard to play Dallas in some inter-squad scrimmages. You hopeful for the Rams? This what Snead's done?
Yo, man. Well, Les and I work together in Atlanta. He's a good friend of mine, real close friend. In fact, Les followed me. I get fired at the Rams, and I'm there for a couple of days before I left, and I'm reading like Les Snead is a candidate for the general manager's job. So I called Les and I said, dude, do you have a chance for this thing? And Les is an awesome guy. He's like, man, I was embarrassed. I was going to call, but he said, I feel bad. I said, what do you feel bad about? I'm fired, man. They're not hiring me back. I'd rather you get it than some of these dogs that they're talking to. I'll do anything I can to help you get this job. So I'm partial to Les. I'm a little worried, JB. I mean, the quarterback is 37 years old. He hasn't practiced yet. That's a concern. That's, they're trying to get him to the starting gate, the opening season, but That's the only concern that I have. If he's healthy and can go, I think they've done and his group has done a great job putting that team together. I'm keeping my fingers crossed on the quarterback. Let
me ask you, you've been in these rooms, you've seen how it goes from January till now, from the draft on in April to now. CJ Stroud had the same concerns 2 months ago. They said, he's not throwing, and all these people come on ESPN and say he's cooked. And I broke down the quarterback, but having played it and coached it, I'm like, hold on, this guy's been working out and throwing all damn year, and he's probably solidified, and he's probably getting more mental stuff with the new OC who came from the Rams, by the way. And I got a wide out there that is hurt right now in Tank Dell that played for me. But where are you at with that possibility? You think that Stafford's kind of just they're saving him? Because he obviously has been working out all year long, right?
Right. I think that's part of it. I mean, how many reps is Matthew Stafford going to need to get ready to play week one if he's healthy? He'll be that's not the concern. But it's even if he's ready week one, week two. I mean, it's a long ass football season. I mean, you're thinking you got to think big picture and end of the season. So this is as much like I would think like a baseball pitcher where you're going to just try to limit his innings. Well, right now you're limiting his reps. Just like I say, getting him to week one and hopefully manage him through the rest of the season.
Right, and we know he has new weapons there as well with Devaney Adams being there. You would love to see them being able to kind of get on the same page and get some of those reps together. So yeah, we'll see. But you bring up age being a big factor for Matthew Stafford. So now my brain immediately shifts to another older quarterback in Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. What's your thoughts there? Pittsburgh on paper they look good, but they have a lot of older guys on that team. They got Jalen Ramsey, DK Metcalf is still, I would say, in his prime, but he's not that young. I guess what's the expectation for Aaron Rodgers and that Steelers team?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think people in Pittsburgh are wondering the same thing. You hope you can milk a year out of Rodgers and, he becomes a bridge guy. I was thinking yesterday, just going over quarterback situations, and Pittsburgh's one of those teams. I mean, they're set this year with their guy, but going after the season, do we know who their quarterback of the future is? He's probably not on the roster right now.
Right.
They're hoping they've got a playoff, certainly got a playoff caliber defense. But the thing that I like, Big Smitty, it's been kind of quiet in Pittsburgh. You haven't heard anything goofy stuff from Aaron Rodgers. It's kind of like everything is just football. And I think that, that's a reflection of the head coach, all the noise and outside stuff. You don't hear that going on right now. So I think that in itself is a positive sign for me for the way things are going with Rodgers.
That's a great point.
I like it. Let me ask you a question. You've worked with some legends, Bobby Beathard, Rich McKay. Obviously, you've worked with Snead. You've worked at all these different places. Has there been somebody that stood out to you that's kind of was an innovator that you kind of took some things from and took and used, or and was someone just different? Because you got some legends on your resume that you've actually worked with before. So
I've been so fortunate, believe me. Just right from the start, just even getting into this crazy business, I would mention Beathard. I mean, when I say this, I say it with the utmost respect. He was out there and he did things different than most general managers. Just the fact hiring me, I was loading planes at Newark Airport. The fact when he hired me as a scout, and let people like, where'd this guy come from? What's his background? But Bobby took a chance on me, right? Just that in itself, jumping out there, taking a chance on somebody like me. I think that speaks volumes the way Bobby approached the draft and evaluating players. He was the best. I think people, it's unfortunate. The young people, it's such a young person's league right now. They probably really don't know how good Beathard was. But people that were in it, that are, they're still around, that worked with him or worked against him, they recognize just what a great job he did.
Hey, were you in San Diego when James Fuller was there?
I was.
No way.
I was. Portland State, right?
Portland State. That was my Arena League head coach.
Well, how about this? Here's my James Fuller story. I forget the coach's name. I think it Ron Mims.
Ron Mims
there to work out Fuller at Portland State, and I love Fuller. I love.
And Wayne Nunley was with him, wasn't it? Wayne Nunley with them too.
That's right. It certainly was. So the workout's over, and Mims goes, "What do you think?" And I go, "I don't know. He's kind of stiff. I don't know. He's going to hurt you in coverage and all that."
Blue footage.
I went back to San Diego. I said, "We got to get this guy. We absolutely got to get." And I think James wound up starting for us as a rookie. Arnsparger was the defensive coordinator and loved James. Now, he had some injury deals after that, but oh my God, was he a legitimate tough guy. Super, super tough.
Only corner I knew, 6'3" corner. He played in Philly with Fuller and Vincent and had to guard Dion. Had to guard Dion the whole game in the playoffs, and he was just telling me how strong Dion was, and people didn't realize how strong he was, telling me all these stories and shit. But he'd motherfuck us at practice. He had a full dip in at corner. My brother, full dip at corner and shit, and locking up cats. I'm like,
crazy.
Yeah.
He's a man. He was an absolute
still coaching,
man.
by the way. Still coaching Arena League, man.
Is he really? Good for him.
Jacksonville. Yeah, I think he's won a couple Arena League deals. So yeah, it's crazy. So who you right now? Camp starting. We're getting these inter-squad scrimmages going. All the hoopla with Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones and all that. You know, inside stuff and how this works. Is this all marketing, media attention? Is this just a money grab to keep bringing them the money for probably the most high-priced organization in all of sports in the Cowboys now, which I think will sell for more than what the Lakers just sold for $10 billion. Is this all hoopla? Is Micah Parsons a Cowboy at the end of the day?
Oh, I think so. I think it. I don't know if it's so much a marketing ploy. I mean, the Cowboys are the Cowboys. I mean, they're marketing geniuses, and I don't think they really need Micah Parsons holding out or holding in, whatever, to generate more publicity for them. I think it's a business thing. I don't think Jerry minds at all that he's not out there practicing right now. Every time you step on the field, man, whether you're Parsons, no matter who it is, you're pulling. There's another bullet in the chamber, and what does Mike? To be honest, the coach. Now you're a coach, JB. You're probably going to think this is sacrilegious, but what does Micah Parsons has to gain right now, practicing for a couple of weeks before preseason games even start? He'll be ready to tee it up week 1, so he will be out there at the start of the season, and everything will be worked out. This is all. Now, on Parsons, I think Parsons playing it smart. He's not going to risk injury no matter what, even a walkthrough or, go without pads. He's not going to put himself in harm's way until this thing is taken care of. And he shouldn't. I don't blame him.
In your opinion, with or without Micah, though, are they battling the Giants for last place?
Geez, probably, right. And I don't think it's much of a battle. I think the Giants have that pretty much solidified. It's just, they're in the kind of the same situation like I talked about with Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. When you look at who's their quarterback for next year, they now all signed. They drafted Dart from Ole Miss. All signs are positive right now, but they're one of those teams that you'd want answers after the season. Like the expectations aren't high for the Giants. They're not going to the playoff. But they would love to come out of it saying they've seen enough at Jackson Dart this year. Like, we got our guy going forward. Same thing, Tennessee or New Orleans. Tennessee, they're not going anywhere. But when the season's over and they feel good about Cam Ward and say, we're good, we're in a good place, that's great. There's got to be hope. Same thing in New Orleans. Shuck down there. If he shows to be, New Orleans is going to suck. I mean, we know that. But if they come out at the end of the season and Tyler Shuck is their guy, okay, we can live with that. The worst thing is the season's over. Like Cleveland season's over. Where do we go now? Who's our quarterback next year? That's the worst position to be in. So I get the Giants are starting that process. And if like I said, Russell Wilson is going to be a bridge guy and a good bridge guy. But if they feel good about Dart at the end of the season, then their season's going to be a success regardless.
Nah, for sure. Let me ask you this. As a GM, when you look back, throughout your career, you've made so many big-time decisions for many different organizations. But is there one move that you made that just kind of you look back and you're like, man, like that was good. Like that was one of my better moves that I made throughout my career.
How about this, Junior Seau? I mean, no, I'm being facetious. That didn't take a brain surgeon to figure that one out. That fell to us. We were the whole time leading up to the draft. Tampa Bay was picking right before us. I forget where they were, 4th or 5th, and Bobby's like, they're not passing on Junior Seau. There's no way they're passing on. We were the one. I called Junior the day before, there's a week, you're not allowed to have contact with draft eligible players after a week before the draft. We never contacted Junior. And I kept saying to Bobby, just for PR thing, we should just work him out. I mean, he's from San Diego. He said, it's a waste. We're never going to get him. I said, I know that. Let's just bring him down. I called Junior and he goes, damn, San Diego's the only team I haven't heard from. You're my team, right? My back. So we brought Junior down for a so-called workout. Yeah. Honestly, I know it wasn't two, it may have been 2 drills, maybe 3. And we said, this is stupid. Whatever. He was so good in those first 2 drills. Like, let's just stop this. We're teasing ourselves. There's no way he's going to be there. And sure enough, Ray Perkins took a guy from Alabama, McCants, which was kind of a surprise. And Junior fell into our lap. So, yeah, I mean, that didn't take a whole lot of scouting acumen to pick a guy like Seau. The other guy that I feel good about, Rodney Harrison, was from Western Illinois. I think we got him in the 5th round. And, man, he was, I don't want to say a tweener, but he wasn't he was like maybe 6 foot, 6'1", 190, and the way he played, he almost played like a will linebacker. I mean, you know what kind of guy he is, tough as hell. And his first couple of years, he was a demon on special teams. But Rodney, it got to a point, say, Rodney, just bring your checkbook to the game and write out the $100 fine. You're going to get fined. He got fined every game, hitting people out of bounds, cheap hits. And he was almost crying one day to me. He said, what do I got to do to get on the field? I said, Rod, Coach Ross can't trust you. You got to calm it down a little bit. Don't lose that edge, but you can't hurt the team by taking all these dumb penalties. So believe it or not, Rodney kind of dialed it back a little bit and kind of got himself under control, got on the field as a starter, and he should be in the Hall of Fame as far as I'm concerned. So Rodney was another, and he had great physical skills, but just his mentality. You talk about a war daddy. Oh my God. Great teammate. I mean, just everything you'd want in a player and a person.
No doubt. Let me ask you something, Bill, as you go through the process year in, year out, I don't know how many of these scenarios you've been in, but a bad year comes about. What's the deciding factor? Is it solely you, or you and ownership say, hey, we got to make a decision with our head coach? Like, I'm just asking because I want to know, like, when is it time for a day ball, for a Cleveland Browns to say, okay, we gave you the shot with Deshaun. We signed that contract. Obviously, that's been known and is out there. When is it time to move on from the head coach and save the fan base, I guess, when you're down in the dumps?
Yeah, that's you know this, JB. Every situation is different. It's unique, depending on. I mean, obviously it's the owner's final call. You would hope that the owner is engaged with the general manager and kind of knows what's going on. That there's good communication between those two, and the owner is not depending on talk radio, or he's not living in the city and he's just hearing reports and not getting the accurate story. But it'll come down to where the team is personnel wise. If it's like, okay, we should be better than this, or our young guys are not improving, I don't see us getting better, then that's usually when it's going to fall on the head coach. But again, if the general manager has missed on multiple picks and free agencies have been bust and it's cost the team a lot of money, then it's probably, and as a rule, it's probably best if you're going to do that, clean house and start fresh, hire a general manager and work in cahoots with him, and have the general manager hire the new head coach, and those guys are tied together. So it's a joint effort by ownership and the general manager and the decision makers involved.
No, I'm glad. I can't thank you enough. I'm like, it intrigues me, like, to know the back side of this thing, like the inner workings. I know we have Shaun King on our show during the season, and Eric Weddle, who both have dabbled into some GM stuff, and they kind of have aspirations on being a GM down the line here when their kids and everything are done and go through school. But I'm curious to know, like, are you already during the season, in-season firing like we saw in Chicago last year and a couple other places? Like, how hard is that? And are you looking at college guys during that time, or is it automatically interim to get the job, or is it interim to be the interim and we're going to go out and fly it?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's kind of a crap storm, it be for everybody when you start down that road. That's why you try to avoid that, and that kind of goes into also when coaches are on the bubble. Just use Brian Daboll last year. I mean, and he's a good guy, and I hope and everybody's pulling for him. But and I'm just putting myself in that situation with the Giants. You'd say, all right, we're going to bring him back, but if we start out 0-4, 0-5, we're probably going to have to fire. We're going to have to fire him, and that is a mess. When you start, then it's over. What happens then is you've got coaches. They're thinking about the assistant coaches I'm talking about. You think their focus is on the game day coming up? They're thinking about where am I going to be next year? Who are the hot candidates? How do I get my name in front? I hear so-and-so is going to get this job. I got to get in front. The focus becomes not winning games. And on that season, it's survival. Everybody's in self-survival mode at that point. So you do that. You do everything you can to avoid that. Cause it's bad for the players. They're looking at their coach like, what am I? You're not going to be here next year. What am I listening to you for? So that's the worst case scenario. You really don't want to put yourself in that situation.
You saw it in New York, right? Like I got a kid there, Jermaine Johnson, who was a first rounder, and you saw Solid get let go, and it kind of became a shit show after that and all that stuff. Like it kind of became a shit show because guess what? They were looking for the new job right next year. So like to your point, yeah.
Absolutely. It's a tough business, bro. But you know what? For all its warts and everything, and people complain within, and I hear scouts saying, "Gosh, you're traveling and all." Nobody ever leaves voluntarily. You'll seldom see any kind of scouts or personnel or general manager or coaches saying, "I'm done. I've had it with this." They may bitch and complain, but man, it's all in all, it's a pretty damn good business.
No, for sure. I would ask you this. The college landscape has changed so much with the NIL, and now we're seeing GMs at the college level. JB and I, we always have discussions around it because, he educates me saying, the GMs at the college level aren't the same as what you did at the NFL level. Kind of break that, I guess, that down. Like, are there real GMs at the college level that did what you did at the NFL level, or is it totally different?
It's not. I mean, it's somewhat the same. In fact, you're evaluating high school players for the most part. You've put together a personnel department. You may have 2 or 3 guys just focusing on high school. You may have 2 or 3 guys focus on the portal. So,
yeah.
So it's kind of like a pro personnel department, college personnel department. So you're trying to coordinate that. You have a grading system like you do in the NFL. But let me tell you, I spent 2 years at Nebraska. I think it was 16 and 17.
With Mike?
Yeah, with Mike, with my man Riles. He called and said, "You're interested in doing this?" And I think I was just scout. I was kind of winding down with the Falcons, and I said, "No, Riles, I've been in the NFL for 30 something years." Anyway, the more I thought of it, I said, "That might be cool. Let me just give it." And it was the best thing I did. I mean, we didn't win enough games there, but it was an eye opener. Now, I couldn't believe the difference. And this is 16, 17. It's not that long ago. It's the dark ages compared to now. All we were doing is high school recruiting. There wasn't a portal transfer. There may be 1 or 2 guys that were thinking about would transfer. And I saw the amount of time that the coaches put in on the college level. There wasn't any free time. You know this, JB. I mean, it's meetings, practice. The phone is in your pocket all the way. When practice is over, you're on the phone. Meetings at night, coaches, you get home, you're recruiting. There's no downtime. My respect for college coaches went way, way up. The NFL coaches, I'm talking about the time factor. It is a cakewalk compared to college. And now you magnify it 100 times over with all the stuff that they have going on. So it is a whole different world from 16 and 17 when I was at Nebraska. And I couldn't survive. I'll be honest. I couldn't. There's no way I could go.
And they didn't have the so-called quote-unquote GM when you were there. They had DFOs and other things that have kind of translated into that's what I was telling Smith. We got Lambo on. Michael Lombardi will be on tomorrow. He's a friend of the show. He'll be on tomorrow with Bill. Now he's with Bill. Yep. I think he's actually being a GM as you were in the NFL because he was also in that level. He's being a GM. These other guys at SC that hired the guy from Notre Dame, these guys aren't GMs. I was trying to explain to him. I'm like, they have no clue. They got 10 guys in the portal that are GAs working, giving them a list. They compile it. They organize it. there's no real GMs in college unless you're a Michael Lombardi who's running it like an NFL program because Bill wants it that way.
That's the key.
Other than that, there's a bunch of these guys that are they're not GMs. They're analytical book pushers, but he don't get that.
Well, and Carolina's kind of an outlier right now because they are it's a college, but it's almost like an NFL team. So that is a situation unto itself. Make sure you tell Lombardi. I said he's a Jersey Shore guy. He's from down the shore.
Right. Yeah. Both you guys. Yeah. Hey, who's a good friend of mine who's a legend out there in New Jersey? Kevin and Greg Olson's dad.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Wasn't he a coach also?
Yeah, he won I think 8 or 9 state titles. I think he's the all-time winningest coach in New Jersey, high school at that level. Because Kevin played for me, and I got to know Greg through Kevin, obviously, and the dad's a great dude, and he was a legend out there in Jersey. So I got to go out there
because Olsen boys are tremendous also. So that figures.
Very underrated, under-recruited state in football.
Really.
New Jersey and New York, I think, are very under-recruited.
They are. You know what? The problem in New Jersey is, Rutgers has improved a little bit, but Rutgers, for their history, is if you're a stud player in New Jersey, you're thinking Penn State, or you're going, right. Rutgers was always an afterthought. It's good basketball, but the football we never really caught fire.
Hey, you guys lost Cushing out here to Pete Carroll at SC, and that screwed you.
Yeah, I wonder how that happened. Cushing always grew up dreaming of being a Trojan. Yeah.
Hey, last thing I got for you, the AFC West this year, is it the best coach division you've seen in a long, long time? You got Andy, Pete Carroll, you got Harbaugh, and now you got Super Bowl champ and Peyton. So, man, that's a tough deal. That
is a tough deal. The quarterbacks are tough.
Yeah.
I just saw this morning that Sean Payton, and this is unusual for Shaun. He really likes his team, and he feels like it's a Super Bowl caliber team this year.
Damn, that's crazy.
That's big for Shaun. He's usually more guarded than that, so he feels good about his team. No, that's become a tremendous division. Absolutely.
Are the Chiefs on the downside of greatness? Are they going to get back? Because I
hate to say that, right? I hate in years past, anytime you bet against them, they always proved you wrong.
Say
it. I tell you, you know what my concern is? They're going to score, and everything. The quarterback. I'm not sold on their running game. This kid Checo is I love his style. He
run hard, don't he?
But he's like 100. He thinks he's 240 pounds. I worry about running between the tackles as hard as he does. I don't think he's going to hold up. That style of play, I just don't see him holding up. And as great as their passing attack is, and I think people have caught up to him a little bit. There's the receiver. It sounds like it's probably going to be suspended for 3 games. That's the guess.
Yeah.
So they've got some question marks. There's no doubt. But again, you go back to that kid at quarterback is such a competitor. The head coach is one of the all-time greats. So it's hard to doubt them, but there's some doubt creeping in. I'm sure there are.
Nah, no doubt.
Sure.
Bill, I can't thank you enough. You got any last thing?
Nah, thank you.
We got to get you on again, man. You're great. I got to get you on during the season
for sure.
NFL's here, man. What are we, 4 weekends away? College football, NFL, and we'll be back. So hopefully we can get you on, man. And what do you got cooking nowadays?
I'm taking care of my grandbaby for the most part, as much as I can, 6-year-old. But you know what? Fortunately, I've got a couple of friends around the league that I think they're sympathy work, but they give me stuff to do. They'll give me 3 or 4 players and say, can you write these guys? Look at these guys. And that's starting to pick up from other, they'll send me from other teams. Can you keep this team is deep at running back. Can you tell me what you think of their back? So it's just busy work, and which I love. That's always been my passion, is evaluating players. So I'm doing just enough to stay busy and taking care of this little boy.
There's no way you're 70.
Really? Oh, I'm 70, bro. I'm 70.
He said, don't let the looks fool you. I feel that.
Oh, that road, man. That road for 35 years.
Better than Jason. I'm not allowed to. Way like night and day.
Whatever's keeping you young, fuck.
Give it to him.
Keep doing it, man. You look great,
Sam
brother.
Adams. I'm telling you, me and my buddy Sam Adams ride every day. So
hell yeah. Hey, man, Bill,
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough. I'll tell
Thank
Lombo
you.
you said hello, and
Please do.
hopefully we'll see you soon.
All
That'd
right.
be great, guys. Thank you.
All right, brother.
All right, Bill.
Appreciate it.